Hello, everyone. I'll be happy today to explain you my next big project, which is just being published. And this is this fully advanced and automatized project management Excel table, which is meant for all of you who are leading some projects, having some activities. It doesn't matter if it's private or business related, and you want to manage them in a very simple, but at the same time sophisticated manner. Definitely, it's important to say that for this Excel table there is no need to know any conditional formatting, any formulas, any programming in Excel, because the form is created in this way so that everyone can use it. So please stay with me in the next few minutes and I will lead you through all the tips and tricks of this Excel table, how to use it and what to consider. So before we start with all the details and the main part of this video, just remember that in the description below, I will leave you the link of my web shop where you can find and download the specific table. If you have any comments and any experience in the meantime, just leave the comments in the comment section below and I'll be happy to respond to you anytime and to help you whenever it's needed. So let's start. So we can start with the first use case of this project management Excel table, and I will show you, I will explain you all the instructions and how to use it, what to achieve with this table in just the next few minutes. So I explain those three sheets that we have here, which is the first one is the plan, the main sheet where everything happens. Then we have the settings where we set up some data that are later on appearing in this plan sheet, and the how-to sheet is a sheet where you have everything explained, all the instructions, whatever is necessary for this advanced Excel table to know in order to be able to use it. And it is done in 3 languages. So you see it's divided in some sections. The first section is related to the plan sheet. So you will have some tips and tricks for the plan sheet to understand it better. Then it's divided into the setting sheet, which is related to the second setting sheet and has, again, the same or similar instructions that you need to take attention about. And then you have some golden rules and those colorings which appear in the plan sheet, and each of them is explained carefully so you understand what is going on for each of the columns, since each column has its color, and this color means something to the column, whether it has a formula or doesn't, whether it's updated automatically or you need to insert something. So just follow whatever you didn't understand in this video, you can then check in this how-to sheet and have everything explained. So let's start. I'll first remove the main part of this sheet, and I'll remove also everything that doesn't contain a formula. So I need to be careful about formulas in order not to remove them, which will then make my sheet not working very well. Basically, those 2 places I just left, since it's a very important formula and it's always used for this I type, which I will then choose later on. In these 2 columns, we have always hard-coded formula, which is valid for every single type of an activity. And then here we have also this XLOOKUP formula, which is hard-coded, doesn't need to be changed at all. Also, location link activity column, it's also hard-coded, no changes, just leave the formula as it is. And everything else for the I type will be then inserted manually. So when we choose the I type, you see the coloring changes, everything changes, formatting is adjusted, and these 2 formulas correctly appear in this I type. Whenever the I type is, we need to recopy those 2 formulas, and that's the only additional things that you need to do when I type is inserted. I type is a type which is needed, which is used for every new activity. which is then the main activity, and all sub activities are added below the I type. So I'll show you again also basically how does it work. So I add a new row and I pull down all the formulas that appear in the pre-existing row, which is then copied automatically in this new row. I'll call the second row E, which means execution, and the third row I'll call completion, which is also correct for a task that is meant to record a finish of the specific activity. So let's call the first task just task 1, then execution 1 and completion 1. For 3 of those, so each activity you name as per your wish and as per your need. So I just typed it now like this in order to show you how does it work. Then I need to assign every task to someone, to some of the personnel of the project, which is to be found in the sheet settings. And I'll just do something like this time. So you see that all names are there, so you know who's responsible for which activity. And you have also departments which are pre-defined in the setting sheet to every single person. So you see Milan Kaigo, project manager, then we have also the other guy, project manager, which is not so correct. Let's put the finance guy, and the third one we will make a supply chain management guy. So just to distinguish a bit, so you see that there are differences. A link number means if you want this activity to be linked to another one, we will do it. I'll show you also how does it work. And this will then appear automatically when we insert this link number. Also, what we can do is when we choose a linking to another activity, we choose whether this activity should start at the same time like the linked activity, or it should end at the same time like the linked activity, or it should begin when the other activity is finishing, or when it has its end, or the other way around. It ends when the other activity has the beginning. So it sounds a bit complicated, but I will show you and demonstrate so it will be much more understandable. Then we have empty days column, which is meant for that to leave some empty days between linked activities. If there is some need for whatever reason, we put either minus some days or plus some days, and the specific time frame of the specific activity is then shifted backwards or forward depending on what we need. Then we have required start and required end. So you see that those two are colored in green, the same like link number. So what is important here, it's important to understand that for each single activity, there is only one of those three that needs to be populated with data, meaning that we just need to populate one in order to have correct date later on. I'll show you this as well. And then duration working days means we insert how many days this activity needs in order to be completed. Again, as per specific needs and the specific requirements. So let's start. As I told you, for this I task, we have those formulas, basically those two formulas that are specific only for the I task, and we don't need to change anything in this case now, since it's calculating dates based on what we will then insert later on. For the second task, I will just say, okay, I want the second task to start at 6th June 2025, and it immediately appears here as an activity that is activated and colored. So how long this activity lasts, I'll say 5 days, and we have automatically 5 days appearing on top of it, so which represents the full duration of this activity and when it should end. If it starts at 5th June, it will then end at 12th June, which is 5 working days only, so weekends are not included in this case. Then for the next one, I will not type in manually the date, but I will rather go and say, okay, I need this task to be linked to the previous one, which means it can only start when the previous one meets some conditions. Now I linked it, but I didn't say what is my condition for it. So by default, it's this one, end to beginning, meaning that this task can only start when the linked one is finished. So begin of this one is at the end of the other one. This is actually the meaning. B and E. B is for the begin and E is for an end. But when I put E to E, this means it will end on the same day as the other one, end to end. Then we have begin to begin. It will be moved to the begin of the previous one, and then we have begin to end. So begin to end to begin, actually. End of this one is the beginning of the other one. So this is how it should be understood. The other thing interesting to remember here is that we have an arrow which is showing where our connected activity is located. In this case, we connected to the second activity and it shows it's in the about direction, so where we need to look. Also, what we can do here is if you want to change status of each activity, we just put complete. If you want to distinguish it in this date plan, so we just mark it as a complete, and this C mark and colored in green appears in order for us to be able to distinguish it. Now, let's say I'll try to add a new iTask for you. So you just then see how is it when we are adding new activities and how does it look. I will do it quickly, so no time is wasted here, and should be then much better understandable for everyone. So again, I just pull down all the formulas. I get copied all my types. So I want to change it. I put an I type, I put an E, and I put an C. However, you can insert as many E's as you want. This is as per your own need, basically. So you see, and so many iTasks as you want. Everything will stay the same. All formatting, all formulas will stay the same, and you'll be able to adjust it as you need it, and as much activities as you have. Again, I put specific people who will be responsible for each of the tasks. I can connect if I need. However, for the iTask, I don't need to connect it. It's all calculated automatically. So we see here this error message that is appearing. Basically, those two red colored. So what I need to do is actually just to copy and paste those formulas that we will then we'll calculate then some dates automatically based on what we insert here. So what we need to do here is it's important not to connect any activity to the I-type activity, since it creates a circular formula, and it doesn't allow the programming to do its part, which means you cannot connect anything to the I-type, since I-type is I-type dates are calculated based on what's inserted in the subtasks, in their subtasks. So it doesn't need to be connected to anything. Maybe it sounds complicated, but just don't connect anything to the I-type, and that will be it. So what I will do now, I will then again insert, this time I'll not insert required start, but I'll insert required end. And let's say I want this activity to finish on 19th June 25, which will then appear here at the 19th June. And I'll say this activity will last for me 7 days. And if I insert the 7 days, the end date will not change, but rather the backward dates will be then populated with when activity needs to start in order to finish on this 19th June, as we indicated here. Then again, I can connect it to the previous one, but I doesn't have to. I can also say, okay, I'll remove it, and I'll say this activity is independent from the previous one, and I want it to start at 17th June. So 17 June 25, and it will last 5 days. Let's say this means for me now, it needs to be finished at any of those 5 days, which is the project milestone. And since the previous activity lasts a bit longer than the first milestone, it will then end somewhere between the middle and second last milestone date. So that's basically it. And what is also important to remember is that I type always needs to be at the end of the table, which makes the conditional formatting work properly, and all the formulas function also properly, since they're based on this I type. So just remember to put I type at the end, no other data needed to include, and it's also very good for you to see when the project ends, just to specify it with a big end. Okay, and the last but not least for this sheet, let me show you that whenever you are not satisfied with any of these activities, you can just insert this unhappy smiley, and it will mark with this blurred coloring, blurred formatting, the specific activities, so you can anytime pay attention to it and solve those specific actions that you need to solve before you remove it again, and before you have a clear view of each activity again. Now I will just quickly explain you the setting sheet and what do you need to set up here in order to have the plan sheet fully functional. So basically just a basic setup, nothing advanced, no coding or programming, conditional formatting. You just need to type in the name of the project, which will then appear in the previous sheet, the importance, which is as per your wish, and the project start date, which will reflect all the dates that are showed here. Meaning we now have June 25th, and here it's 5th June 2025, meaning that it will then be reflected in the plan table. Then we jump to the project roles, meaning we have here all the project roles, which are then used later on in a drop-down menu. Whatever we insert here, it will appear in the drop-down menu below. I'll show you now. I'll just insert a new role for the project and gave it NR, the abbreviation, the code. And if I go here now, whatever name I insert, whatever project team member I insert, I need to choose all the departments working in. And now I just choose the department that I here inserted, which is automatically shown in the drop-down menu. Also, if I remove it from here, it will not be shown in the drop-down menu anymore. But since we inserted it before, it is here, so I removed it, and now I don't have the option to choose which department this person is assigned to. Also, all the names, all the people can be removed, and can be added as per project need, and it will be automatically reflected in the plan sheet for further application. Also, in this activity status here, you can. It's important not to change this complete status, because it's hard coded in the plan sheet, and if you change it, you will not have anymore this completion mark, the green one that I just showed before, but this one in progress, or you can add new status. It's anytime possible, and as per your need and wish. And when we go now back here, this add new status is appearing here since we introduced it as new status of the project. I'll just remove all those newly added, which was for demonstration purposes. What is also very important to mention is that those yellow colored tables shall not be changed at all, meaning that they're hard coded, and if you change them, some formatting, some formulas will not work. And so please don't do it, otherwise your table will not work, except you have a very advanced Excel knowledge and know how to adjust it. So then please go on and do it yourself as you need to do it. As I already mentioned on the last sheet, there is full explanation of how to use this intelligent Excel and what is important to consider during the usage. And it's available in 3 languages: English, Serbo-Croatian, and German, as you see it here.